Hey guys, thanks for jumping on a call. I just wanted to get a quick update on Ciitizen so that we can tell all of our families about it. Maybe first, let's just kick off. My name is Mike. I'm the MD of SRF. And then if we could just go Virginie, Jess, Nasha, Sarah, please.
I'm Virginie and I'm patient lead at SRF.
I'm Jessica and I'm a special projects volunteer at SynGAP Research Fund.
I am Nasha and I run our neurological and rare diseases division at Ciitizen, and I'm also a mom of a child with FOXP1 syndrome and run our foundation.
And I'm Sarah. I also work at Ciitizen with Nasha. I head up our record collection department.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for jumping on. I guess first, Nasha, yesterday you guys announced a big grant from CZI. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is very exciting. It's something we've been working on for a while. And, really the idea is how can we use machine learning to really transform the way we find a cure for all of our disease areas. And a big part of this is we don't have enough data. So it's really difficult for drug companies to even develop cures for our diseases. It's hard for us to even understand our own children's disorders and what we can do to help them on a day-to-day basis. So CZI really believed in that mission. And we're trailblazers. So SynGAP Research Fund, FOXP1 Research, and 2 other foundations have really come together. And that grant is going to enable us to make the Ciitizen platform even better and enable us to process medical records and get data and help our children even faster. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's a strong signal that Ciitizen is legit, because CZI doesn't just give away $500,000, right?
No.
You've been working on this for some time.
A little bit.
Congrats. You mentioned SynGAP. So we were actually the first rare disease group to go in. Can you tell us what's going on?
Yes. So you were the first rare disease group, which was amazing. We onboarded you guys in 2 days, 50 patients, collected medical records. And Ellie Brimble, who I hope everyone from SRF knows, is actually going to be presenting results on the first cohort at your roundtable, December 3rd?
4th.
December 4th. Be there. So it's very exciting. It's the first time that we even have consolidated data in the world on SynGAP patients in this type of depth. So really excited, and it's great. I mean, you guys were the first. You're the trailblazers. We learned through you, and you're the first ones who will have data to show the world.
That's so exciting. December 4th, syngap.fund/RT2 to sign up. So Virginie, I know Virginie had questions about the next group, because there's about 200 US patients and we only have 50 so far. So when can we get the new ones can start signing up when? And then Virginie has questions on the whole flow.
Yeah, so I was in the first cohort, super excited. It worked really well. I think I timed myself because we wanted to show families how fast it was to sign up and how easy. And I was like under 10 minutes. So it was kind of a race between the SRF teams, like who was going to do it as fast as I could. So I had my driver's license, I had my birth certificate, everything all laid out to get it done fast. But that was great. But there were some questions in terms of adding providers. And I know I came back afterwards to add the genetic place, the genetic lab where my son had his genetic report done. So I know I went back a few times. It was still very easy, but I just wanted to know, did that improve? Is it clarified for a second cohort? And can you walk us through that flow so that families can be ready to go and maybe beat me on my time and go faster than me?
Yes, absolutely. We learned a lot from that first cohort and have actually made changes in the product to guide families on the types of providers that are really critical. So first, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah, and she's going to talk about, just like you said, all the documents that you laid out and just little tricks and tips to make sure that that part goes faster. So let me hand it over to Sarah first.
Thanks. Yeah, so the reason that we ask for the documents that we do, that's our way of proving identity for you, for your child, to the healthcare institutions that we send requests to. So it's why they're really important. And the big key thing is we'll ask for your photo ID. It can be a driver's license, passport, some photo identification for you as a parent. And then if your child is a minor, birth certificate. If they're not a minor anymore, then it'll be some sort of legal doc. So typically we see a healthcare proxy or power of attorney for making medical decisions. So including that document as well, so that we can include that with our record request to your healthcare institutions. The really big things to call out is we use these direct photos on the request. So please do take a look at how the photo comes out. If it's blurry, please retake it. We'll have to ask you to retake it anyway. So it'll just speed up your time if you do it on your own. And we ask for a signature. We add that to the request as well, kind of proving that it's your request for records. If you can match that as close as you can to your actual ID, again, it's an identity check for the healthcare institution. So the closer you can get, the better, because it'll help with the whole process. It'll make it a lot faster for us to get records for you.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
I did have a couple of, I think 2 places who called me almost immediately the next day. So you guys worked really fast. The next day they called me to verify, did you really consent to pulling all of your child's medical record into Ciitizen? I was like, yes, do it now. And it was smooth. I just had to say yes on the phone. And I think what I wanted to also tell families, it's free. If you try to do that yourself, you're probably going to have to pay. If you go to the hospital and ask for your medical records, you're going to have to pay. It was free. And that was amazing. Seeing all those records flow was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Many people don't realize that hospitals will purge records after 7 years. So it's really important to get all your children's records, digitize them, have them in one place. So it's really important for us.
Yeah. One other thing I'll call out is that if you have genetic testing results already on hand, we have a way for you to upload them directly into our portal. It actually speeds up the entire process a lot, because those can be stored separately from the rest of your child's medical records. So it can be actually a little bit of a longer process for my team to get them. We still can, but if you have them on hand, it's much faster if you load them directly to your profile.
Yes, and the faster we can get all of your records, the faster we can create what is called as a neuro summary. And this is where we do our magic of actually pulling out the relevant data points from your child's medical records and presenting it back to you, and also what SRF can then use on an aggregated, de-identified level for researchers. So the faster we can get that, the faster the whole process goes of, trying to find therapies for your children. One of the things, so we learned a lot from the first cohort that went on, and we made a couple changes. And so the questions that you're going to get asked, you'll get a question that says, where was your child diagnosed? So that's something to think about, if you don't remember to get that information before you sign on to the platform. And then you'll have a question on, where is the primary place where your child is treated? And for this, most of us have a pediatrician that our child goes to, as well as a neurologist. And what we really want is the neurologist. So when you get asked that question, please pick the neurologist, the hospital, and then you'll have a follow-up question. What is the name of the neurologist? I know for my daughter, she's seen by like 4 different people, but if there's a main one, go ahead and put the name. If you can't remember, there's too many, don't worry about that. The institution is really the most important. And then you'll get a question on, are there any other specialty institutions that your child has gone to? And this is really if your child has gone somewhere else to get an MRI or an EEG, or you go to a GI specialist or a movement disorder specialist at a different healthcare institution, go ahead and put that institution as well, and we'll pull those records. And then last, you're going to get a question on, would you like us to search for other providers? And it's so important you put yes here, because that allows us to go and really go into what is known as a health information exchange and see, are there other providers that your child has gone to that maybe you don't even remember, that is going to be critical to build the neuro summary. So, please make sure you click yes to that response as well.
Amazing. I have 2 more questions. One for Nasha. When will we be able to sign up again? When can the second cohort start? And then Jess, you've been on the call too. Any thoughts you want to share about your Ciitizen experience? Maybe I'll let Jess go first. You're muted.
Sorry, I was just on mute. So from our experience, it was very smooth. The sign up experience, I think we had to retake fuzzy picture, but after that it was fine. And we've seen a lot of different doctors in the US, so we had quite a long list. I think the only hitch we had was sometimes we'd put the institution where we really needed to put the name of the specific physician. So that's just one thing I would point out. It is helpful, I think, to Ciitizen if you put the institution and the physician that you're seeing it, and that enables them to narrow down that request a little better. So if you can remember that, great. Then I guess my other question was, okay, we've done a great job in the US. What are the opportunities and challenges of building this out to other areas of the world? Obviously, with the rare disease population is very tiny. So the more records we can get from different jurisdictions, I think the better from a data perspective and a research perspective.
Yes, those are great points you brought up. You know, the first point on, if you've seen many medical institutions, the system as you go through the flow is going to ask you for the few that I mentioned. But if you feel like, look, there's really a couple more that are going to be really critical, then let us know. We have a customer service on point all the time. Her name is Mikkel. She can guide you how to add other institutions after you're done with your onboarding flow. On international, we completely hear you, and our plan is for Q2 of next year, which is starting in April, to be able to expand internationally. So that's our plan. And in terms of the onboarding for this next cohort of US patients, we're going to start December 1st. And it is a first come, first serve. The cohort is only open to 50 patients. So please get on as soon as you can and sign up.
Amen. Thank you all for joining. And I want to go over first principles because we are all neck deep in Ciitizen, but let me just summarize if someone is watching this and hearing about it for the first time. A lot of registries involve you signing up, you spending a lot of time filling out questions, you looking for your own records, you uploading them, you hitting send, and then wondering if anyone will ever use that data and if you'll ever know about it, in my experience, right? But this is really different because you spend 10 minutes if you're Virginia, maybe less, maybe more, but not a lot of minutes giving consent. And then Sarah and her team does all the work. They take those documents, they send letters and emails and faxes to hospitals. They use the health information exchange. They gather all the records. You know that happened because you have a login where you can see your records, read your records, relive those meetings, look stuff up, search it. The Ciitizen platform is amazing. And then Ciitizen takes that, turns Word into Excel. I'm borrowing that quote from Anil. Turns Word into Excel and makes that and de-identifies it, right? So you can't figure out whose data it is, but it's all there. So then the researchers can get it and use it to explore and understand our disease. And that happens in months, not years,
Yes.
right? So that's why SRF is so excited about this. It's not work for parents. The cost that Ciitizen charges, SRS absorbs. So it's free for parents. It's a few minutes. And the data you would share on December 1st could be available to researchers in like March or April of next year.
That's right.
Like that is the speed that our kids need.
Well, and it's helpful for parents too. I've shared, I just go on my platform, found there's two things that I need to share with different providers. I click share, enter the email address, boom, it was sent. I went back and looked at notes that I had never seen. I think it empowers parent too. It's not just for research. And that's what I love about this, because like I'm the parent lead, so that my main job at SRF is to take care of parents and make sure that families are well taken care of. And this is perfect because it's fast, like you said. It helps research, but it also gives something back to the families.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out as well, so this is a slightly different way of doing a natural history study. The registries that we currently have in the SynGAP 1 space, they're really based on the parent's view, the parent entered data, so questionnaires, or in the case of Simon's, they'll call you up once a year and do a questionnaire over the phone. This is different data. This is data that's clinical data, so it's entered by physicians. And although no data set is perfect, it's not as subject to our memory issues. We all have fallible memory. And looking through the Ciitizen data, I was really surprised how much I'd forgotten in just a year. So I can only imagine if my child was diagnosed at age 5, 6, 7, being asked for accurate information about the time that they were born or the few years they were growing up, I just simply wouldn't remember all of those details. So being able to look back retrospectively and automatically grab all that data is so invaluable for our overall understanding of the disease. And I'm really interested. I'm really keen for the families who have older children and adults who are diagnosed to really understand just how valuable their experience is and how much we can learn from it. So it's not, and we always refer to the children, but it's not just the children, it's the older children and the adults that we really, can really help understand this disease as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Any last thoughts from the Ciitizen side?
We're just so excited and honored, honestly, to be on this journey with you. And we hope that we find therapies for SynGAP 1 together. And we're basically in this with you.
Yeah, it's awesome. We will. And the point I would make, if you've heard all this and it sounds complicated, don't worry about it. Just go and sign up. There's a little chat box, and then you deal with nice people like Sarah or Mikkel who help you through it. And you also have myself and Virginia and Jess and anyone else at SRF. Like, as parents, one of the most important things we can do, as Virginia said in her blog, is share data with researchers to accelerate study of our gene. So that's what this is facilitating. I really don't think there's anything better, or I wouldn't be supporting it as SRF. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop recording
Thank
now.
you.